Charlie. You start with Charlie.
He was, oh God, it's so hard to start really. He was a feisty little baby to start with, wasn't he? Big unit.
Yeah,
10-pounder.
He was walking at 10 months and then riding a bike at 3, was he? And then when he was 8.5, he fell off his BMX on a pump track that the kids had made in the village and broke his femur. I told him sort of 6 months before he could ride his bike. That was his first question, when can I ride my bike? And they said 6 months. And by 3 or 4 months he was riding down sort of a flat track, and then his determination to start racing again, sort of by 5 months he was doing some cross races, and he'd put on quite a bit of weight from not exercising, and he didn't give a monkeys. He was just out there with a big red face and throwing himself around the cross courses, and loved it.
Just showed this amazing determination to get fit again.
Thomas was 4 years older than Charlie, so he started to get a bit more interested in cycling and was starting to get good on the cyclocross and mountain bike scene. But Charlie just loved following him. He just loved taking pictures of him. He just loved being there in every corner and every hill, or where they're likely to fall off, he would be there. You know, I can remember at some cross races he'd have had a really muddy, cold cross race, and we'd just managed to get him warm and clothed again, and he'd go out with his waterproofs on his coat and as well as on his mini bike or something, and at the end of next race he would just be absolutely covered in mud again.
We got a photograph. I couldn't feel my fingers or my feet at the final round of the National Trophy cross race a couple of years ago, and Charlie he'd done all that. He'd raced, did everything he needed to do, gone and got messed up. He got the last fresh clothes on that we had with us, and we turn our back and he's belly sliding and skidding, face down in ice cold mud, laughing and smiling his face off. And that was just Charlie. And we, as a mum and dad, we just look at him and just smile back. When Tom was 13, we just packed our bikes, flew to Geneva, and then wild camped around the Tour de France following the racing. It was an amazing father-son journey, and I promised to do the same with Charlie. So when Charlie turned 13, we did exactly the same, and it was equally as good. Both boys learnt to wild camp, work out where you can camp, where's the best place to go, and these journeys obviously they were priceless. They were priceless anyway, but now what's happened to Charlie, they're just gold dust.
The Friday he finished school, the weekend of when he died, he that was his first weekend. He was not racing, and he was just looking forward to doing some bit of playing with his friends, with Joey's friend that he played at weekends with, and they still called it playing even though they were 15. And he was looking forward to doing that, and he was going to go out on his Christmas present that he hadn't ridden, a Bergamont bike, that it was like a touring bike, but it was going to be his winter bike, and he'd set it all up, and he was going to go out riding with his dad over the weekend. And Friday night we just had a nice evening in, and Charlie went to sleep that night, and I went to wake him up the next day because he was late getting up, and he didn't. He died in his sleep. And so that was a Saturday morning, and that's where our nightmare has begun in a way. Yeah, the house has been really quiet. I think the house has been quiet from, not that he was dead noisy, but he liked his music on, and his dirty washing and his amount of food that he ate. So our dynamics as a house has completely changed, and
we'll rebuild it,
yeah,
and we're going to do things to help.
It is different.
It's totally different.
And it's kind of changing without us realising, I suppose, because those other things that Charlie created aren't there. He wasn't in any distress when we found him. So whatever's happened, he's just gone to sleep and hasn't had a struggle or a fight or anything.
His heart went into an A rhythm.
Which is that's what they say, because that's the only explanation they can give us, is that his heart has had an A rhythm.
And that is basically just switches off. In what they say about Charlie is really quite unique, is that he is possibly the one in 50,000 that this just happens to, but it doesn't normally happen to an elite athlete.
Part of our charity fundraising has been, initially was for CRY, because they've obviously helped us in being able to eliminate, I suppose, that we hadn't got anything hereditary that Charlie may have had and we didn't know. And that is an awareness for 14 to 35-year-olds for heart screening that
that's something we weren't aware of, and everybody, any child or young adult 14 to 35 can go on the CRY website, and that's capital C, capital R, capital Y, and they can book in for a heart screening test. It's a static ECG, and they can pick up any signs of any possible faults in the heart, and can help. And since Charlie's death, we've raised a fair bit of awareness, and we've already had emails from parents and children that have been told that they've got to have further investigations after those tests. So 1 in 300 youngsters will have a fault in the heart that could be fatal, and it's so important to go and get those tests. Don't wait, just get on the website and go and get yourself booked in for a test.
We've had a lot of funds raised, and a lot of people have raised money for CRY, which then we've ring-fenced the money so that we can provide screening days nationally or locally, wherever we choose to put them. So lots of people have done lots of amazing fundraising, and it's been brilliant to see the awareness been spread around the country, really. But that's part of what we wanted to keep. We wanted to help, but we also wanted to have something in Charlie's name, to keep Charlie's name alive, and to have something that what he...
It's something in the spirit of Charlie, really. It's a lust for life.
Yeah.
He,
just the things that he wanted to do and would have made happen as much as he was capable of, and how he was inspired. And we want other people to be inspired by Charlie, and to be inspired to ride the bike, and to live life with a smile, and live life for today. And I hope at the moment each day we do is just getting by, but one day hope that we will appreciate each day a lot more, because we literally woke up and our life was turned upside down, and it is just something you can't describe, really. The loss of a child is something you don't want to experience.
Is it nurture or nature? What happens? You know, your kids grow up, they grow up part of you, but also you want them to be their own. You want them to be themselves, and I think Charlie, at the age of 15, was all of those things together. He was a complete young man.
Yeah.
Could we miss?
Yeah.
Well, all the best cyclists have Vander in their name, so we just thought if I change my name to Charlie Vander Craig, then it'll make me a better cyclist and a quicker. So he thought that if he changes it, then he'll become better. So then it just caught on, and he kept it like that, and now that's what everyone knows him as. We used to come home every day from school and just come and work on the pump track, and if I wasn't here, Charlie would carry on doing it without me. Like when I went on holiday, sometimes he used to come back and there was new sections in it, and he'd gone off somewhere, found some rocks and just stuck them into the puncture. We weren't expecting it to be this big, but then once we'd used up all this area, we had to move on to his front garden, and then we had plans of doing it in his back garden, but yeah, we never got around to that, but it was a good plan.
T-shirt says it all. Charlie Craig. What can we say about Charlie that hasn't already been said? Charlie was one of the best lads you would ever want to meet. In these kind of situations, it's always said that they were, you know, these kids, these lads, these girls, these guys were happy-go-lucky, the nicest kind of person that you'd ever want to meet, but in this case it really is true. He was the sort of lad, you know, he rode past my house only a couple of days before he passed away, and shouted out the window at him, abusing him, giving him some stick for not riding hard enough up my hill, but I mean, he would have been riding hard because that's all he ever did. And always with a smile on his face. And every day I go out, when I do go out on my bike, I don't ride that often, but when I do ride for Charlie. But I drive my car for Charlie as well, and I sit watching the telly for Charlie. Whatever I do, you know, there aren't many days that go past when I don't think of Charlie. And he's missed a lot, and always will be, but it's because of him that things like this are happening, and he will ride on for a lot of people every day. Miss you, Charlie.
Hello, my name's Tim Buckle, and I work for a company called Chimp Management. And so why am I sat here at Hope Valley College on a beautifully sunny Saturday afternoon? Well, it's because I'm a friend of the Craig family, and obviously you're watching this video now and you'll understand that Charlie Craig died in January early this year. Yeah, so that has been, I've really tried my best over the last, nearly eight months now to support the family. And what we've done today here at the Scott Marathon is, with the blessing of my boss, Professor Steve Peters, we've delivered a charity version of the introduction to his model. And we've had a really great audience that were massively into what we've done, and told them about the chimp that is inside their head and how their mind machine works. And they've kindly donated some money that's going to go to the Ride for Charlie Trust. And this is part of something that we've been doing on a national basis. And I'm tripping around the country for cycling clubs and parents and bike riders, delivering what we're calling Chimp for Charlie. And if you want one near you, all you've got to do is get hold of me through the Chimp Management website. And if you've got a cycling club and a community of people that like to find out about the chimp paradox, let us know and we'll raise some money for the Ride for Charlie Trust.
I guess your brother's going to be the closest friend you ever have, because you've known each other for longer than you've known anyone, I suppose. So yeah, it's always going to be hard remembering, kind of getting yourself to remember all the good times you had on family holidays, or just random stuff like just having dinner together, or Charlie asking my dad to tell a tea time story again, because they'd always like come home and tell random stories, and Charlie'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's another tea time story," or something. And but no, I guess it is hard, but you have to, like, it's like what Tim was saying before. Like, if you could choose again, like, would you have those 15 years, or would you not? Like, obviously it's horrible that he's died so young, but I think you have to remember kind of the good times that you did have, and yeah, he did die young, but he also had 15 years, which we enjoyed and we wouldn't choose not to have if we had that choice again. So yeah, Charlie was my best friend in many ways, and I'll miss him forever. But it's great to have events like this and to have people talking about Charlie and remembering the memories that they had with him.
He'd always like take the piss out of me for orienteering, because he thought at every control you actually found like a piece of treasure, so we decided to call it treasure hunting. It was just funny and he always made me laugh.
It wasn't completely serious, was it?
Yeah,
No, he was still funny in class and still
made jokes.
Yeah, still made everybody laugh. Would have won nationals at the weekend or something. He wouldn't tell you.
I had a good race.
What an amazing, amazing lad. So, like, enthusiastically, contagiously happy with life. I mean, as anyone kind of should be at that age, at like your 12s and things like that. But just a cheeky, infectious boy, and to see that just develop and him grow and sort of mature into this young man. And my God, he loved to ride bikes and everything else, be it whatever, like cooking, sewing, eating, like just a real lust for life, and everything was done with 100% dedication. Most people have a couple of interests, but this young man was like driven to do all kinds of stuff, like all kinds of random stuff that lads of his age wouldn't be doing. Yet he'd give it all, he'd give it his all. And that's kind of like, that's obviously how he'll be remembered. That is that legacy, that if we were all more like Charlie, Christ, can you imagine what kind of world we would be living in? It'd be amazing. It was a pleasure to have him sort of grace my life, and for such a young person, there's a lot of things that I can take away to live my life better through meeting Charlie. No, there's no superlatives really. There's nothing that you can use that can touch on what a marvellous, passionate guy he was. So I'll just leave it with that, to be honest. It was a pleasure, and he will never ever be forgotten, because he knew how to live his life, and it was 100% dedication.
Have dust on my boots of 1,000 cathedrals, and I have taken my place with bended knees, and I have raised my voice with a multitude of angels whose nests are treasured by your trees.
The stone that's holding the gate, pulls the gate closed, is the shape of a monkey. And this is quite a special gate to us, because we always used to stop and look at that view. it was really special. This event was always going to happen anyway. There was a plan to have a marathon in the Peak District. There was a few hurdles, I think, for the team, Gareth and Dave. And when it ended up being a tribute event for Charlie, there was no stopping them. This event was going to happen.
It was really well.
Yeah, really well.
Gone really well. Everyone's worked really hard.
Yeah, and there were some special bits.
Yeah, there's lots of little bits that we made special for Charlie's clients, and had friends there, and everybody was really friendly on the course today, and I thought it was a really nice atmosphere. And yeah, it was lovely.
If everyone's had a good day out, Charlie would be proud of everybody.
Yeah, there's quite a few of Charlie's friends that have never ridden anything like this that have done it, and I think that's really good. And it was nice to have Bob Thomas there as well, because he's not been riding too much, so that's been really good to have him out.
Yeah, in the start this morning, to have all those people and the support from everybody, the raffle prizes, everybody buying raffle tickets, and just everyone feeling the loss that we're all
going through still.
And we just it just helps us keep going, and he was a special boy, and this event, the marathon's made, it just reiterates how special he was, and big thank you to everybody that's made it happen. Very, very special.
Yeah.